Good afternoon, everybody. We are live.
Good evening, and welcome to the July 6th meeting of the Community Redevelopment Agency at the City of Keystone Heights. City Manager Wachowski, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Lake,
Here.
Vice Mayor Hart,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Here.
Councilwoman Kelly,
Here.
Councilman Peoples.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Mayor, and I do have Mr. Ward, Director of Clay County Emergency Management, in my office with me.
Thank you and welcome, Mr. Ward.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
We'll go to item A, other business. Labor Day Meet Your Neighbor celebration. Ms. Wachowski, do you want to begin?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things to discuss. In your packet, you have 3 quotes. We have Four Seasons Display, we have Skylighters, and I believe it's Connect. These, they have provided the show that they can give us for $10,000.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Peoples.
Madam Mayor, I've been waking up every morning and seeing the numbers of the COVID-19 virus increase, and I think in all good conscience, I think we should go ahead and postpone or reschedule it for maybe in October, because things aren't looking good. They're still going up and up.
Okay, thank you for your share. I do think that since we have the quotes, we can make a decision about the fireworks. We can move forward with that. Did you want to delay making a decision?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Brown?
If we make the decision to go with the fireworks and we pay for them, will we be refunded if we do not do this event, or do they hold them for a later date?
So, Madam Mayor, if I may, that's a conversation that I do not know. That hasn't been something that we asked of the contractor. The question was, what can you provide us for $10,000? That is what was given. Given the information from our Country Day, I know that their deposit was lost. It was not refunded, so I'm not entirely sure that it would be the same for us.
Picking up on Mr. Peoples' comment, I'm not even sure that we'll be out of the woods in October. We really don't know, and I think it's premature to be talking about the nuts and bolts of a contract for an event that may never happen. I would like Mr. Ward, if he's up to speed, and I'm sure he is, to talk about the CDC's guidelines. There is a CDC guideline called Organizers of Community Events. Can you comment to that, Mr. Ward?
Yeah, there's a lot of the CDC guidance out there. It talks about real heavy into physically distancing, wearing masks, that type of thing. Some of your larger, when it speaks to a larger event, it targets that 250 or above number. We've seen a lot of events going around in the community. Some of them practicing physically distancing, some of them not. So I think the decision's really going to be as to what you guys want to do. I think you can have an event, but push physical distancing and push everybody wearing a mask. So it's just really what type of protective actions you'd like to push within your events.
Madam Mayor, if I might, I have a copy of the considerations before me, and just for the record, I'd like to read a couple of things just into the record. There are a certain number of factors to be considered. Number one is the overall number of attendees. They refer to, for example, more than 250 people, but we can set that amount. We're not locked into 250. Another consideration is the level of transmission in the local community versus the level of transmission in the people that might be coming to the events. Right now, at the last look at 11 o'clock this morning, we only had 21 people in our zip code. But the rate of increase in Duval County and Alachua County is outstanding. Of course, the number of cases. Also, the ages of the people that are from Duval and from Alachua are substantially lower than our age. Clay's median age is 49, but Duval's is 34, and Alachua's is only 29. And given the nature of some of these events, you're probably going to attract more young people, and they might be carriers. So do we really want to be bringing something into the community? And as Mr. Ward mentioned, you also need to do the distancing and masks and all that. But I think there's enough guidance from CDC for us to put the brakes on this particular event, at least for now.
Is there any other questions or comments?
I concur with what Mr. Hart said. Yes.
I do too.
Okay, Ms. Kelly, do you have an opinion?
No, I think what Steve said was great too.
Okay. Well, then, Ms. Rakowski, can you contact each of those vendors and let them know that we're setting back, we're going to push back on the date? And also maybe ask them how good those bids will be. How long can we hold on to those bids and they still be accurate bids?
I will do that, and so just so that I'm clear on this, then we're pushing back that event in its entirety, and I'll be in contact with all the vendors, the food trucks that we've already contacted, and let them know that it's to be held on a date that has not yet been determined.
I think we're pushing back the consideration of the event and so on. We're not approving the event, but postponing it. We're just pushing back the time to make a decision. That's my understanding.
So if I can comment on that, Madam Mayor, with the planning of this event, if we come in at the August meeting saying that we want to go ahead and move forward with the September 5th event, I don't know that that's going to be enough time to plan an event of this magnitude. And that's just for everybody's visibility. That's going to be a lot on staff, and I don't know that we're going to be able to secure the vendors.
That's why I suggested October maybe as a target month, if things allow.
I can live with that.
And maybe when you have the conversation with the fireworks contractors, ask them how much advanced lead time do they need?
And perhaps get a sample contract for the city attorney to look at. That will answer your question about refunds, I would think.
So am I correct in hearing that that this event might be held at an October date? And understand, I'm just looking for clarity because we do have a lot of food trucks and businesses that have agreed to participate in this. So we'll have to contact them. And that way I can let them know. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Thank you. I don't think right now we can put a date on it. I mean, October sounds good, but we don't know. I would just leave it open.
Okay.
And we just one day at a time. I mean, that's all we're going to can do. I mean, I wouldn't tell them we're going to do it in October because we might not be able to, and then they plan stuff. I know the type of business I'm in, we get scheduled to do something and then they call us and tell us, oh, don't come. It's kind of aggravating. I would just leave it open.
Madam Mayor, Mr. Ward has a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to comment on this regardless of which way you go with this. I think the unfortunate reality is we're going to be dealing with this with some time until we get an antiviral, which is minimum the beginning of next year. We're going to be dealing with this. So as far as physical distancing and wearing masks in the community, that is best to prevent the spread. And again, that wasn't to defer either way, but I think we're going to be dealing with this for some time until we get the antiviral or until we can slow the spread down.
And I will just point out that we just successfully hosted a 5K run, which signed up and registered over 100 runners, and they successfully completed an EOC, a plan for EOC, and Mr. Ward and Ms. Bukowski reviewed that plan, and that plan was implemented at an event. So we, hopefully 2 weeks from now, we don't hear of any positive results, but that was successfully conducted.
And that was approved during more optimistic times when it looked like we were out of the woods. Circumstances have changed. Now, hopefully nobody from that run will get sick. But I think now that we're talking about the future, I think we definitely need to keep the virus in mind.
My biggest concern, Mayor, is, and everybody has been at the beach during 4th of July, and when it comes time for fireworks, it's like a can of sardines. And you can't stir them with a stick. And if it's our responsibility in public safety to encourage the mask and 6-foot distance and stuff. That's going to be hard to do with a small staff. And I mean, volunteers, it's hard to get volunteers to help anymore too. So
As a preview to the council meeting itself, I'm going to be asking that we pull the Kiwanis event for August 1, and I'm going to be making a motion to reconsider on that. And then I'm going to be, with the mayor's consent, asking for a vote to cancel that too, because we don't know how many people are going to be there. It could be 75, it could be 250, we just don't.
Okay, so it sounds to me like the consensus. Mr. Commander, we don't need to vote on this, do we?
There's nothing on the table.
Correct. No, there's nothing to vote on.
Okay, so by consensus, this council wants to postpone Meet Your Neighbor to an undisclosed date.
Could I make a request so that this doesn't get pushed under the rug? Why don't we just simply keep it on the agenda month to month, just as an item, just so we keep it to the front of the burner?
Mr. Rakowski, will you do that for us, please?
I absolutely will.
Thank you.
Is there anything else to come before the CRA?
No, Madam Mayor, everything else was to do with the Meet Your Neighbor event.
Okay, so seeing no other business before the CRA, I'll adjourn the meeting at 5:43.